broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news updates from all over the province. This is News at 12. For the local scene, the Bureau of Fire Protection in Albay, in partnership with the Albay Provincial Health Office, has conducted medical and laboratory examinations for its personnel to enhance their physical readiness for disaster response. As part of the capacity building program, this effort emphasizes the commitment of the agency and the health office to ensure the optimal health and operational readiness of firefighters who are vital to the province's emergency response system. Meanwhile, healthcare professionals from the provincial government of Albay managed hospitals are conducting the laboratory tests and medical consultations. These included the Josefina Belmonte Duran Albay Provincial Hospital, Dr. Lorenzo P. Siga Memorial District Hospital, and the Albay Capital Wellness Clinic. Furthermore, the capacity building program is being implemented in collaboration with the Albay Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. Meanwhile, the Gender and Development Division has launched a 3-day gender-responsive monitoring and evaluation workshop running from May 13 to 15 at the Governor's Guest House in Legazpi City. The workshop aims to guide local government units in implementing a gender-responsive local government unit assessment tool, which is a required submission to the Department of the Interior and Local Government DILG and the Commission on Audit. Visita G or C Tirofuente, a member of the National Gender and Development Resource Program and the Philippine Commission on Women, spearheaded the orientation on the general tool and facilitated the hands-on completion of Form A and Form B, the documents needed for submission. GAD focal persons from various LGUs in Albay and the provincial government of Albay GAD focal persons joined the said activity, which seeks to strengthen gender mainstreaming in local planning, budgeting, and program implementation. In the national scene, the Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting or PPCRV is collaborating with the Commission on Elections or COMELEC to resolve discrepancies in election results. In a statement, the poll watchdog noted that it received initial data on Monday but encountered delays due to varying file formats. The PPCRV mentioned that it also observed discrepancies between its internal count and the figures reported by other groups receiving data from the transparency servers. Upon further analysis, the PPCRV determined that the data was accurate, reflecting proper filtering of duplicate entries. It stated that it is now releasing its verified data set. The poll watchdog also highlighted a significant gap between the election return that it received and the figures reflected on the COMELEC website. The PPCRV assured that it is actively coordinating with the agency to understand and resolve the gap. In another story, the Commission on Human Rights or CHR has commended the progress made concerning human rights issues during the May 12 midterm election. The CHR noted that the key positive developments include respectful campaigning, efforts against disinformation and vote buying, improved access and early voting for vulnerable sector members, the inclusion of indigenous people, and the voting process for persons deprived of liberty. Despite these positive developments, the CHR called for enhanced accessibility at the polling stations, as many remain unwelcoming to PWD and senior citizens. To ensure that IPs, PWDs, and PDLs are aware of their rights and options for accessing information, the CHR also called for expanded information campaigns in partnership with the Philippine Information Agency. In another story, a A total of 970 overseas Filipino workers in Jeddah and Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, have qualified and registered for the free competency assessment by the Technical Education and the Skills Development Authority TESDA next month. TESDA will conduct the assessment from June 4 to 7 in Jeddah and from June 10 and 25 in Riyadh. This initiative aims to provide OFWs with better job opportunities, professional growth, and reintegration options for or upon the return to the Philippines. The free assessment covers qualifications such as caregiving NC2, caregiving or elderly NC2, healthcare services NC2, massage therapy NC2, electrical installation and maintenance NC2, photovoltaic system installation NC2, and barista NC2. Since 2014, approximately 7,784 OFWs has received assessments. Meanwhile, TESDA also stated that applicants must submit the required documents, including a duly accomplished application form, a self-assessment guide corresponding to the application or the qualification being applied for, and a copy of the training certificate or certificate of employment to the nearest migrant workers office. For the news outside the country, the United States and China have agreed at an initial 90-day tariff period, signaling relief in their protracted trade conflict and raising hopes for longer-term economic stability. The deal reached after intense weekend negotiations in Geneva will see both countries significantly reduce duties on each other's goods, with the U.S. lowering its tariffs on Chinese products from 145% to 30%, and China decreasing its own from 125% to 10%. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Kerr announced that during a joint statement in a press briefing in Geneva. Although temporary, the agreement is the most significant step towards easing trade tensions in years, providing a lifeline to global markets rattled by months of uncertainty. In a joint statement, both governments acknowledged the importance of sustainable long-term and mutually beneficial trade relationships. In another story, a record of 83.4 million people were living in internal displacement at the end of 2024, marking the highest number ever recorded, according to the Global Report on Internal Displacement. The figure, released by the Norwegian Refugee Council's Internal Displacement Monitoring Center, has more than doubled its since 2018 and is now equivalent to the population of Germany. Conflict and violations or violence accounted for nearly 90% of these cases, displacing 73.5 million people, according to the report. Sudan reported 11.6 million internally displaced people, the highest ever for a single country, nearly 60% of the global total, while nearly the entire population of the Gaza Strip remained displaced. Meanwhile, disasters drove 45.8 million internal displacements in 2024, the highest since records began in 2008. The IDMC report also calls for preventive action, urging the use of data and other tools to anticipate displacement before it occurs, and for the humanitarian and development sectors to collaborate with governments to develop longer-term solutions preventing displacements. And that ends our News at 12 for today, May 15, 2025. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. And thanks to our News at 12 writers, Eric Rublao and LJ Lorejo. And on the technical side, we have Chad Bobis. This has been your anchor, Cherry Mae Dacoro, pitching in for Sir Greg Halyare. Thank you for subscribing.